Dramatic video of a crash on the causeway as a truck nearly falls into the water. Now officials are warning you to pay attention.
An issue we first told you about last night as multiple neighborhoods face water problems after the freeze. Tonight, another is added to that long list.
Many will see another hard freeze as we head into the weekend, but a big warm-up for next week.
In an ideal world, all of this would be behind glass and sorted by year.
We all have parade throws laying somewhere around our house, but one man's collection has found a unique place of honor. This is WWL Louisiana News at 10.
It's been nearly 48 hours since we felt a freeze, and many are still dealing with major water issues, from boil advisories to no water at all. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Devin Bartolotta.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. The list of those currently under an advisory is long, so listen up. In Slidell, that includes the Bel Air and Meadows subdivision, and St. John. Same goes for Reserve, Garyville, and Mount Airy, as well as the Grand Bois community in Lafourche Parish.
And last night we profiled Tangipahoa residents who were without water. We're told it had come back overnight and then went out again. So if you're serviced by Eastern Heights Waterworks and you have water, you should boil it first. And new at 10, Kentwood is the latest to be added to that list. Amelia Strahan was there as leaders work to fix the issue.
Absolutely, it's inconvenient. I'm not used to living like this.
Kentwood is known for its water, and now the whole town is out of it.
It's okay to go without a day or two, possibly, but to go till Monday, that's kind of hard.
Unlike other towns in the parish, water outages during the winter are unusual in Kentwood.
This is not common. This is something that we experienced during a hurricane, not in the middle of winter.
And residents aren't the only ones impacted. Only one restaurant in the entire town has kept their doors open.
Oh, Lord, what are we going to do?
After using bottled water all afternoon on Wednesday, the owner of Beck's Chicken got creative, bringing in a 550-gallon water tank to run the restaurant.
We want to be here for the community, but at the same time, it's very tiresome.
The city's mayor says this shouldn't have happened. The town's well is brand new and large enough to accommodate the whole community. But when the temperatures dropped below freezing, a valve malfunctioned.
It's the cold weather. We have never had this problem before.
She says they hope to have the water up and running by Monday. But in the meantime, Kentwood Springs is filling in the gap, passing out cases of water to the community. In Kentwood, Amelia Strahan, WWL Louisiana.
Mayor Gordon says schools in Kentwood could be closed through Monday. And as for any of these boil water advisories, we will keep you updated as they're lifted.
We've seen some rain on and off throughout the day, and you can see some moisture out on Bourbon Street. Luckily, one thing we're not seeing tonight is another freeze. Unfortunately, that won't last very long. Let's get a first check of your forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin. The weather coming back down all over again.
Yeah, temperatures going to be coming down for Saturday morning and Sunday morning, not tonight and tomorrow morning. We're still very mild outside in the 50s. 60s, and we still have a few passing showers. Look at the temperature contrast compared to this same time yesterday. Yesterday at this time, we were well on our way to seeing near freezing temperatures, and already at this time yesterday had some upper 20s. Right now, we are almost 30 degrees warmer at Bogalusa, 34 degrees warmer in Slidell. Along the Gulf Coast, it doesn't take much to see kind of a rapid temperature increase and sometimes rapid temperature decrease, but certainly an increase as soon as we get a wind off of the Gulf. That's starting to increase the humidity. We got more cloudiness around and still have a few passing showers north of the lake, a bit more scattered with a few pockets of some more moderate rainfall, and at times had a few little brief downpours again in the city. So we've kind of tapped into that moisture, allowing for these showers to develop, and really until a front moves through overnight tonight, maybe about 2-3 a.m., we may still have a few late evening and early morning showers. Note the low cloudiness as well. Could see some patchy areas of fog just for the next few hours. Once that starts to clear out early tomorrow morning, that will no longer be the case. Again, cooler tomorrow morning, but the colder air doesn't arrive until Saturday morning. That's when we'll see the hard freeze on the North Shore, both Saturday and Sunday morning. It looks like we're going to avoid the hard freeze in the metro area. Then by Monday, talk about a rapid temperature change. We're back into the 30s and 40s, so no longer even freezing temperatures may be close enough along the Mississippi-Louisiana line. And speaking of temperatures, we will continue to see an increase with highs back into the 70s. 70s next week, as well as a lot more rain. We'll have more on that in a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. In the 2.5 years since Hurricane Ida, the City Council has called on Entergy New Orleans to strengthen its grid. Today, the utility urged council members to approve a rate hike, but council members pushed back, saying the financial burden shouldn't fall on customers. If approved, Entergy says the average household would see their bill increase by 20 cents a month the first year, and it would go up every year after that. Orleans Parish property owners will be getting a higher tax bill in the coming weeks. The school board unanimously voted to roll its millage forward. Last year, the City Council asked taxing authorities to roll back millages after the average property value shot up nearly 13%. The roll forward will now increase bills by almost $55 for every $100,000 in property value. As for schools, they'll get around $21 million that could be used for anything from pay raises to asbestos removal.
We have a great community here, and I think they recognize that this is an investment overall. So it has a positive impact, not just on the students and the teachers, but also on the community as a whole.
Bills will start going out to residents soon. Because of the delay, they're now due on February 29th. The Greater New Orleans Housing Alliance criticized the roll forward, saying the board is ignoring the impact this could have on students at home, adding, quote, even a $10 a month increase would be devastating to most families. The result will be more student homelessness and displacement. The fight over a new shipping container terminal in St. Bernard Parish continued today. This afternoon, a report was released by those against the development. One of the main recommendations was to build a terminal closer to the mouth of the Mississippi, and that at 83 miles upriver, the Violet Port would be a safety concern for larger container vessels. Port Nola dismissed that report, calling it illegitimate, and detailed progress, including a $74 million grant from the state.
Amazing video shows a wreck that shut down the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway during yesterday evening's commute. Take a look at this. A speeding pickup truck clips the back of an SUV. It hits another vehicle, spins out, and almost flies off that bridge. You can see debris from the truck landing in the water.
The driver pretty much acknowledged that his head was not where it should have been. Because of the magnitude of that one, we had to close the bridge for almost an hour, and this is peak traffic time that impacts literally tens of thousands of people.
This accident could have easily been deadly, but luckily no one was hurt. The causeway was also closed for a time during this morning's peak traffic time. That's because a speeding vehicle hit both guardrails before striking another vehicle and flipping over. A man was arrested today for two separate homicides earlier this month. Both happened on January 6, just hours apart. Around 6 o'clock that night, a woman was killed in the 2700 block of Washington Avenue. And just 4 hours later, police found a man dead at MLK Boulevard in South Liberty. Police believe Earl Simmons is responsible for both shootings. He was booked on 2 counts of second-degree murder. New Orleans police have arrested 3 suspects in yesterday's brazen shooting in the CBD. Officials say they were able to find the suspects using a tracking device that was on the truck allegedly used in the drive-by. 2 of the suspects are juveniles. The third is 20-year-old Bryson Jones. Today, his bond was set at more than $1 million, and 2 people were hurt in that shooting.
In your breakdown, it was a new day for legislators in a special session in Baton Rouge, and now there's a new congressional district map. After the Senate passed this map yesterday, the House went and reworked it and passed this map. It is slightly different, encompassing different parts of some parishes, but it still cuts diagonally through the state from Baton Rouge up through Shreveport. After a judge ruled that legislators must redraw these maps to account for a second majority black district, Republicans have pushed this map that they admit is politically drawn to protect current congressional members' seats. Democrats, though, say they're frustrated that the map split some communities and parishes into as many as 3 different districts. Still, it advanced and now goes to the full House for a vote. It's on the calendar for Friday, which marks day 5 of the special session.
A parade about toilets gets the go-ahead on tossing TP, but tucks will have to follow certain rules when they roll.
People will ask if they can go use the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, make sure you use the one in the back.
And if one carnival story about the John wasn't enough, we see how one local decided to create a Muse's throne.
Temperatures begin to fall for Friday and another hard freeze for many this weekend.
It'll be a marquee matchup inside the Blender Friday night. The Pels Big Three versus the Phoenix Suns Big Three.
Well, in case you haven't heard, this year's Jazz Fest lineup is out. Rolling Stones is joining, and so are the Foo Fighters, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Killers, Anderson .Paak, and much, much more. And of course, the fest is packed with plenty of local artists. You can see that complete list on our website, WWLTV.com.
Well, most of us have a bag of beads sitting in a dusty corner somewhere, or two bags, maybe 4 or 5. Let's be real, that's where they're going to stay, in the corner.
But one local man has found a better way to display the treasures he finds at his favorite parade. Rachel Hanley shows us the one and only Muse's bathroom.
In an ideal world, all of this would be behind glass and sorted by year.
But Nick Broussard works with what he's got. So the Muse's throws he's been collecting for almost 20 years go here.
People will ask if they can go use the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, make sure you use the one in the back. And then they'll come back after like 10 minutes and be like, so what is going on in there?
To Broussard, there's just something different about the Uptown all-female parade. He says in a sea of beads and cups, the crew stands out.
It's a full narrative story about how Super Muse saves the city of New Orleans after Katrina.
He decorated this bathroom when he moved into the house a few years ago, but he's been collecting since 2006. His family's house was destroyed in Katrina. When they came back to the city, he didn't have much of his own.
Definitely some sort of psychological attachment to items, and it's like tangibility or something.
So that explains the collecting and the crew. But what about the venue?
Well, the signature float of Muse's is the big bathtub float, so the bathroom looked like the perfect place to store all of this stuff.
As for what the crew thinks, we're in the bathroom. Muse's captain, Stacy Rosenberg, has heard about Broussard's bathroom, but he's never been able to give her a tour. So we called her up.
I've got all the can koozies from every year.
She told Broussard she's never seen a collection like his.
If you know of anything that you're missing, we would love to try to make that happen for you. It's wonderful to have a super fan like you.
And this super fan has his bag ready for this year's Muse's parade. As always, he's planning to go twice.
I see it at the very beginning of the route on Magazine Street, and then I hop in the car as soon as the parade's done and race downtown, and then I catch the whole parade again.
And afterward, he'll have to make a little more room in the city's most unique museum. Rachel Handley, WWL Louisiana.
That's the only time it's okay to FaceTime somebody from a bathroom, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Muse's rolls on February 8th. It starts at 6:30 at the corner of Magazine and Jefferson.
That was fantastic. Meanwhile, a decision has been made. The crew of Tux will be able to toss their toilet paper for yet another year. The City Council gave Tux a very special exception, but all other crews, they will be banned starting in 2025. Now, at one point, the TP had to be single ply. That was changed so Tux could purchase the most biodegradable tissue, regardless of how many layers. As Councilman J.P. Morrell put it, quote, since it's a parade about toilets, they need their toilet paper.
Sure they do. Remember, you can download our free Parade Tracker app. You can find the routes, the schedules, and live tracking for parades all across the area.
Oh, the ridiculousness of Mardi Gras.
I don't even know what to say about these last two
There's
stories.
a lot of toilet-related stories.
A lot of toilet humor in the middle of this newscast.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think the bathroom, though. I mean, that's fantastic. Usually when I give, you donate your beads.
Yeah, I usually give them back to Art.
Yeah, we used to hold them in the closet when we were younger, but now it's just like it's taking up too much space.
But now
so
I
you
know
kind of give them away.
Deliver my Muse's throws, too.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, the temperature's getting flushed right down the toilet on Monday.
There wasn't like a little duck floating in the toilet. The little Muse's duck floating in the toilet.
Oh, no. Oh.
Get to weather.
You think he cleaned before Rachel shut? Never mind.
I hope he did.
I don't know.
That was a cute story.
I hate to use the facilities. All right. Better stop while I'm ahead. All right, we still had a few showers around. Tapped into that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, considering yesterday dew points were in the teens and temperatures were in the 20s to start the day. Boy, a big shift today. Gotten into the 60s, a more humid air mass, and some scattered rainfall. We do need the rain, and we're definitely eroding away at our deficit from last year and also eroding away our drought little by little, and may get more of those opportunities next week. Some scattered showers on the North Shore. Had recently some passing moderate to even even heavy rainfall move through the city once again, and may still have a few more showers before a front moves through in the next several hours. Rainfall totals have a little bit more now than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall at Kenner, so we've added to our totals from where we were even at 6 o'clock this evening. 0.14 of an inch at Slidell, almost 1/4 of an inch at Lakefront, a little more than a trace of rain 0.07 down at Belchase. So everybody got a decent little shower here, and we'll stay under mostly cloudy skies until our front moves through. You can almost see the cloud cover to our north already starting to push south. So not much longer will that front move on through, and temperatures will be cooler to begin the day tomorrow. Low clouds, humid. Dew point is 60-90% humidity right now. Winds out of the south-southwest at 8 miles an hour. In the 50s and 60s outside, you see our blue colors here on our contour map. That is the colder air that'll start moving in. Not quite the Arctic air just yet. We'll start with kind of a drop in temperatures and humidity for the day tomorrow, and then that Arctic air arrives later tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. Dew points will be falling, and notice they look like they're already starting to come down a little bit on the North Shore. We're starting to pick up a little bit of a northerly wind, so maybe already starting to tap into that drier air mass. And then our focus once again is back up into western Canada, where the polar vortex is sending another surge of that Arctic air, already making it into the northern tier states, and already now pushing across the plains. Now, while it is a cold air mass and very polar in origin, it is not as cold as it was earlier in the week. And this Arctic air is actually going to stay farther to our north. So while we will see a big drop in temperature and yes, another hard freeze, it won't be as widespread of a hard freeze nor as cold for as long. We had temperatures Wednesday morning in the teens for a long duration. That is a very hard, long duration type freeze. We're not going to be quite to that point for this coming weekend. Again, still have those pipes protected, any sensitive plants, but again, not the duration nor the extreme temperatures that we saw just a few days ago. That Arctic air begins lifting out almost as fast as it moves in, and we will begin to see a pattern shift, and temperatures will be warming up in the coming days. And in fact, our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook is calling for us to stay likely well below average, or excuse me, well above average. We will stay below average for the next few days before those temperatures start surging back into the 70s. But first, we have to get through those cold mornings and a hard freeze on the North Shore. But we're going to be right at the criteria for a hard freeze, about 25 degrees or so for a few hours. This is not the teens like we saw just a couple of days ago, but certainly cold. And again, metro area, we are not worrying about a hard freeze there. As we also see a warm up next week, we're also going to start tapping into more Gulf moisture, and kind of like we did today, we'll start to see more rainfall, but probably quite a bit more rainfall. And over the course of most of next week, we could see anywhere from 4 to 5 inches. And this is not just in one day. This is through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, we're going to add to those totals as well, maybe even on into next weekend. So we're definitely looking at a big pattern shift from cold to dry to warm and rainy. And our rain chances will start picking up after a very cold weekend. Again, most of us that have already wrapped our pipes, just leave them wrapped for another couple of days, especially north of the lake, where we will see that hard freeze. By Monday morning, though, temperatures are already above freezing, and we're back into the 70s starting Tuesday.
All right. You have the parades this weekend, Chewbacca's. A lot of people are probably going to be outside. And I don't think they really care about the cold.
It'll be cold and breezy, but if you're dressed like a Wookiee, you'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be in costume. Everybody will be fine.
I like that's the solution. Dress like that.
Dress like a Wookiee.
Fair. Let's move on. The LSU women tonight, slow start, but they got it together and they rebounded with a huge third quarter against the Alabama Crimson Tide. We've got highlights next in sports. Stick and stay. A marquee matchup takes place Friday night inside the Blender. The Pelicans, currently 5th in the Western Conference standings, host the Suns, a team that surged to the 8th spot in the West. Now, this is the first meeting this season between the two, but these teams have played some spirited games against each other in recent memory. It looked like that competitive 2022 first-round series between the Pelicans and Suns would lead into the West's next best rivalry. But then almost all the players involved in that series win for Phoenix were gone.
Different team than they were, though, now. Different coach, added Kevin Durant, and, different players. I think Booker's the only guy left from the team that we played last season, but we still anticipate it being a highly competitive game.
The Pels will see that new-look Suns team Friday night and face a trio of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal for the first time. The three haven't played much together this season, just 9 games total.
That's the key is for most of these teams is when you can be fully healthy, you can figure out what you have, and sort of like us, you know, when we were able to get to full strength, they're doing the same thing. They're getting better and better as they get healthy.
Likewise, the Pels' big three have played 22 games together, and they're figuring out how to coexist. The Pels are 7-3 in their last 10 games. The Suns hold the same record over that similar span, and maybe this game Friday night can spark those rivalry flames once again.
You know, there's still a lot of highly competitive guys over there and guys that, you know, super skilled and really like to just compete at a high level, so that's what we're really looking forward to.
It's extremely close and very competitive in the West this season, so, you know, you just continue to take it game by game, reevaluate where you are, and we look at the positives and then try to add a couple areas that we can improve.
That game will tip off tomorrow night at 7. Kim Mulkey expected her team to start strong against Alabama tonight after dropping their first SEC game at Auburn over the weekend. Well, the Tigers trailed at the half, but they did start the third quarter strong. They opened with a 7-0 run to take the lead. Anissa Morrow hits the wide-open 3. She recorded a double-double tonight, 18 points and 11 boards. Later, the Tigers come up with the steal. We're heading the other way. Flau'jae Johnson will finish with the layup to put the Tigers up 8. Johnson scored 10. The run continues in the third quarter. Nice cut to the rim by freshman Michaela Williams. LSU with a 51-38 lead at that point. Williams finished with 14 points. All that was part of a 20-3 LSU run. They won the third quarter by 16. Angel Reese, relentless inside. The basket goes. The star forward led LSU with 22 points and 17 rebounds. LSU gets that bounce back win 78-58. Tigers go to 4-1 in SEC play, 17-2 overall. Southeastern remains undefeated in the Southland following their victory against Northwestern State in Hammond tonight. Lions trailed by 1 heading into the fourth quarter, and then Haley Geritano took over. The bucket here ties the game at 43, and then with under 3 minutes to go, tied at 46. Geritano spins and scores to put Southeastern ahead for good. She scored 14 of her game-high 23 points in that final quarter as Southeastern beats Northwestern State 55-48 to prove to 5-0 in the Southland Conference. UNO gets a 57-48 win at Houston Christian tonight, and Nichols also earns a conference victory, beating Incarnate Word in San Antonio by the final of 65-59. And that does it for sports. We'll be right back after this.
Cold front will be moving through probably overnight around 2-3 a.m. and then cooler to start the day tomorrow. And staying cool, the cold arrives this weekend with the hard freeze on the North Shore Saturday and Sunday morning, though back into the 70s with rain probably every day through next week.
All right, take a look at this. The Louisiana SPCA is working to find forever families for their animals before Mardi Gras, and they're hoping to accomplish that by connecting you to your favorite parade.
This is very creative. For example, if you're into Chewbacca's, you might want to meet Taylor, who they say is adventurous, bold, and fun-loving. But if you're more into muses, maybe the unique and wise Rudolph might be a better fit. And there are plenty more to see. You can come see all the animals on their website.
Oh, that is a very creative way to connect those dogs.
Yes, it's like those quizzes with your zodiac sign.
Yes.
Yes. That's really cute.
Yeah, it is.
That's all the news for now. Thank you for watching.
Have a great night, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.